Hi, I'm Denel Bingel from Upbeat Dance and Fitness. I really do two things. One is I teach exercise science at a college. And what I've realized over the years is I can tell my students that they need to eat their vegetables and they need to exercise. They knew that before they even walked into the classroom, right? So what I've really started to work more on is, okay, how do we take these things that we all know and put them into practice and then maintain them over time? The other thing that I do is I am a personal trainer group exercise instructor. So as many of you could imagine, it's January 1st. Everybody comes in and they want help to lose weight because that is the New Year's resolution. It's either I want to lose weight, I want to quit smoking. Like those are the big ones that I hear. So once again, how do I help people to take what they know and then transition that into habits that help them and that they can maintain? And the secret sauce for that is similar to what Chris said, is the community around them, because you can know things. And a lot of us start off really strong. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to eat any sugar, or I'm not going to smoke. And then after a week or two, it's like, oh, this is hard. So having that community around you to help support you and help you to live in line with the goals that you've chosen is really valuable. So that is where I'm coming from. Denel Bingel, Upbeat Dance and Fitness.
Denel, we'll have you come back to your insights on this topic.
Great. It's really interesting because I had not thought that a business consultant would have so much in common with what I wanted to say from a wellness and fitness perspective. So we also work with SMART goals a lot. And obviously, just having this thought in your head, whatever it might be, I want to lose weight is just the most common one. You can just have that thought floating around in your head for years and years and years, but actually taking the time to write it down, as Bertha said, is really key. And then in addition to that, you're going to need to make it specific and measurable and time bound. You're going to need to write that down. Hang it on whatever, hang it on the bulletin board by your desk, wherever it needs to be. Then in addition, you want to try to identify the behaviors that are going to get you there, right? Because how easy would it be to say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds by April 1st? Okay, well, that's a SMART goal. That's very specific, measurable, timely, all of those things, right? Okay, but let's take a second and set some behavioral goals like I will eat 3 servings of vegetables every day. Right? And that's a positive goal. I'm not taking anything away from myself by doing that. I'm adding things. I will make sure that I drink X amount of water every day and then stick with that. Hopefully you'll have the accountability in a group like mine or a group like Chris's, or, you know, Karen and Bertha, I'm sure also have some accountability groups going on. I love the idea of also predicting obstacles. Because guess what? Success has never in the history of time gone straight up like this. It doesn't happen. We're human beings. This is the real world. So it's not going to do that. You're not just going to continually get better and better. So let's predict some of those obstacles so we don't get discouraged. I mean, my favorite story, so I try to stay away from sugar, at least added sugar, most of the time, except for Christmas, because Christmas cookies are like the best. But if I'm going to a party, I know that my favorite thing, it's a little embarrassing to share this, but I'll do it anyway, is like ShopRite, like sheet cake. Like, I don't like fancy cake. I don't like it filled with anything. Nothing fancy. I just want like vanilla sheet cake. I love it. It's my favorite thing. So if I know I'm going to a party where that's likely to be there, I'm going to talk to myself. I'm going to say, self, this is going to come up for you today. How would you like to handle it? Then I have the opportunity to choose. I can say, well, I've been, you know, my nutrition's been pretty good. I'm feeling good. My brain feels like it's functioning well. My body's functioning well. I can handle having a piece of that cake. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to enjoy the heck out of it. And that is one option that I can choose. Another option I can choose is say, well, it's right after Christmas and I really need to stay away from that sugar right now because I just really need to stay 100% clean right now for myself so that I can feel good. And then I can turn maybe to my husband or my daughters. They're teenagers now, so they love telling me what to do. And I can say, hey guys, this is going to be something that I'm challenged with, and I'm not going to eat any cake today. So, maybe you can help me stick to that decision, because that's what I'm choosing. I'm choosing it now. Once I get there, I don't have anything to think about. I already made the decision. I told other people about it. So I created that community for myself. And I just feel like that's really powerful for me. It's powerful for my students too, because I think all of us when we're 18 and 19, like you just sort of live life when you're that age, right? You don't really think ahead or try to predict anything. So when I mention that to my students, a lot of times they're like, huh, I never thought of it that way. You're gonna have obstacles. It will happen. So how are we going to deal with them when they come up? Let's see if we can predict, right? Another thing to consider, and then I'll be quiet so the next person can talk, is how dedicated are you to this goal right now? And be honest with yourself. Be honest, right? So maybe some of my business goals, as Chris would know, I have to be honest, I am not 100% dedicated to them right at this minute, because I also teach college. I have teenagers. I have a kitchen that is under construction. I'm honestly saying to myself and my boss that I am not 100% dedicated. I honestly can be this much dedicated. And then I have to expect the results that come with that. I have to expect that those results will be different than if I were 100%. And I can avoid feeling shame then, right? Because shame does not help. I think at least, well, I'm sure you guys all agree with me, right? Nod your head. Say, yes, Denel, we agree. I do a lot of assessments with people. We do body composition. We do the number of push-ups you can do, right? Some of us will be doing that later tonight. Does shame fuel you to do better? Some people, maybe in the short term it works, but mostly no. What we need to talk about is the awareness of what our bodies can do now and where we would like to go. Because me shaming you, you shaming yourself is not really a healthy way to go about reaching your goals.
So Denel, we'll come back to you now to start on the next round, just kind of talking a little bit more on the follow-up on either things you didn't be able to address or some interesting things that you heard from others.
Well, I will piggyback on what Karen said about the scale, because I think in our culture, boy, it's hard to find someone who doesn't have an emotional relationship with the scale, including me, because listen, this is a journey, right? I mean, this is a journey. This is not something that we finish. Like behavior change, it's not something that you can just check off and say, okay, I'm done now, right? It's something that we're constantly working on over time. So whether it's relationship with the scale, I mean, my personal coaching tends to focus on what can you do? Like, wow, when we started, you could do 2 push-ups and now you can do 10. That is amazing, right? Or look how much stronger you are now. You can do XYZ. And trying to take the focus off of the scale whenever possible, because I mean, it's a number. I mean, we can't completely ignore our relationship to gravity, right, Karen? But like, our body composition is more interesting, as Paul was talking about in the chat, right? Gaining muscle and losing fat is amazing. I don't care if the scale doesn't change. If your body composition changes, that's huge. That's huge, especially as we age. None of us are 20 here, right? Because after the age of 25, we lose a half a pound of lean body mass every year. That's scary when you think about by the time you get to be 70 and 75 and 80, right? So the behaviors that will keep that from happening, like strength training, like cardio, like eating less processed food in general, particularly sugar, are going to help you to feel better about yourself, to be more energetic, to have your clothes fit better, to avoid diseases like cardiovascular disease and cancer. And just, it's all around going to help. It's just going to help your life feel better to you. I also wanted to circle back to something Bertha said, right, about really focusing on what what will this change do for you? Right? What's it going to feel like? Like we set this goal, whether it's, I've talked about losing weight a lot, but that's just the most common thing people ask me for. So what is this going to allow you to do? How will you feel? What type of clothes would you like to wear? What type of activities would you like to do with your family? And then, write that down, put it somewhere where you see it multiple times a day. Take a second, close your eyes, visualize what that is going to look like and feel like, because that reward is better. It's so much better than the piece of cake from ShopRite or the whatever people crave. I mean, that's my craving. I've shared too much, but you just keep your eyes focused on that, and it makes the other things just a little easier. This has really been amazing because I definitely have learned from you guys. I've definitely learned even different ways to express or to just to explain different concepts that we all kind of are congregating towards the same thing, which I absolutely love. I would probably finish with progress, not perfection, because people tend to get frustrated and quit, right? I mean, this goes along with what everyone else has said, what Bertha has said most recently about, set that goal, strive for it, feel it. What's it going to be like when you reach it? Surround yourself with people who can help push you. I would say that the secret sauce to the programs that I'm working on right now are that we have this accountability on a day-to-day basis, because when you are trying to change your behavior, like sugar, oh my gosh, I agree with everything Karen said. It is so addictive, and people need support, they need constant support in the beginning to make such a big change, right? And then we can celebrate together when they do reach those goals. So progress, not perfection, is the big takeaway for me.